Hello, we're going to go over lesson 1.3 where it's filling out a weekly time card. I went ahead and I put some little notations in here to kind of help a little bit. Just organize your work. So really what we're doing here is we are finding the difference on how much time the person has worked. Right here, they worked from 7 to 11, so 4 hours have gone by. So I'm putting that here. That's my computed time. I don't have to round. We would round it from there, but really there is no rounding to be done here. So that's the first part of the day. On the second part of the day, they worked from 11 to 4, so 5 hours have transpired. So I put the 5 here, and then I look at the difference between 30 minutes to 45 minutes. So again, 15 minutes have elapsed or transpired. All right. From here, I am going to round it. So I kind of drew this up here to make it a little bit easier to understand. So 15 minutes has elapsed. So if we go to 15 here, that is 1/4 of an hour, which is 25 hundredths, okay, or 0.25. So you could write it this way, 5 1/4 hour or 5.25 hours. I definitely would prefer to write it in decimals because when we go to do the adding at the end, it seems to be a lot easier to compute rather than to add it all up rather than to use the fractions. All right, so we have this so far. Okay, so that is on the 13th. Now we're going to look on the 14th. All right, they timed in from 8 to 11. So from there, 3 hours have elapsed. Okay. And if we look at the difference between 10 and 35, okay, we have 25 minutes that have elapsed. And if we look up here, 3:25 on a clock would be about right here, which would be a lot closer to the 30 minutes, okay? So it would be much closer to 3 hours, 3.5 hours, or 3.5 hours. So I'm going to write 3.5 because I am using decimals. In the afternoon, again, they worked from 12 to 4, so we have 4 hours that went by. 3 to 3:35, that's 5 minutes, so make sure you write 0.5. Again, we're up here at 0. The 5 minutes after would be here, which would be closer to just the hour on the hour, which would just be 4 hours when we round it. All right. Next part, we go from 8 to 12. Okay, so that's 4 hours. Okay, 4 hours, and let's look here. Let's see, 8 to 12, 4 hours, but we have to take away that 10 minutes, okay? So if we take that away, if we take 4 hours, if we've gone 4 hours and we take 10 minutes away, that's going to be actually 3 hours. Let me change that, 3 hours and 50 minutes, okay? Because it's not quite 4 hours. We're lacking 10 minutes to get to 4 hours. But if we round that, if we're at 3 hours and 50 minutes, that 50 would be about here, which that 50 would be closer to the 0.75, okay, rather than the whole hour, okay? So we're gonna change that to 3.75, okay? All right, here we go from 12 to 12, okay, our next part, we go from 12 to 4. All right, so that's 4 hours. And then we're gonna have to go back, which is 30 minutes, all right? So if we have 4 hours, okay, and then the difference between 40 and 10, okay, we're working backwards, is 30 minutes. So we're gonna take away 30 minutes from there, okay, which gives us 3 hours and 30 minutes. So we're going to put that up here. okay, which as a decimal, if we go to 30 minutes, that would be 3.5. All right, these ones are a little bit trickier when we're not working forward where we have to subtract, okay? All right, our next one on the 16th, they clock in at 8. They work till 11. Okay, so right there, 3 hours have transpired. All right, and then we go from 20 to 50, that's going forward. Okay, 30 minutes have elapsed. 3 hours and 30 minutes. We look at our 30. Okay, we're going to write it as a decimal, and that's going to be 3.5. All right, over here, we go from 12 to 4. All right, so 4 hours have gone by, and 50-50, if we subtract those, it's been exactly 4 hours. Okay, so we just leave that as a 4 over here when we round it. All right, from here, we go from 7 till 11, which is 4 hours again that have gone by. And if we go from 5 to 9, again, we're moving forward. We have 4 extra minutes, which is just a little bit past 4, which would be about here, which is going to round back to our whole number, which is going to be 4. All right. Over here, they came in at 11, okay, and then clocked out at 3, okay? So we have 4 hours that have transpired, okay? But now we have to subtract this off of here. We go from 50 to 30. We have to subtract that, which is 20 minutes. So we're gonna subtract, I don't know if you guys can see right here. I have kind of just written this on a little sticky note right here. 4 hours have transpired, but we're gonna take away 20 minutes of that. Okay, if that makes sense. If I take 20 minutes off of an hour, all right, so say we're up here at 4, and I take 20 minutes off of it, we actually would be here at 40. Okay, so this is gonna be smaller. That goes down by 1, 3 hours. And if I take 20 minutes off of here, we would be at the 40. 3 hours and 40 minutes. All right, so we're right here, which would round closer to the 45 than back to the 30. So that's going to be 3.75. All right, our next part, we are just looking at our rounding columns. We're kind of done with our computed ones. We're going to look at our rounded ones, and we're going to get total hours. All right, so here we're going to add 3.5 and 4. All right, which is going to give us 7.5. And up here I had, before I rounded it, I added the wrong part. It should be if we're looking at 15, would be 9.25. 9.25, so we got 9.25 the first day, the second, 7.5. All right, the next day we've got 3.75 and 3.5. So we have 3.75 and 3.5 to 7.25. All right, now we're on 3.5 and 4, which again is 7.5. And then we have 4 and 3.75, which is going to be 7.75. All right, now if I get a total for all that, we're going to have, we've got our 9.25, 7.5. A total of 39.25 hours. Okay, so we're going to put our hours here. Okay, 39.25. We're going to multiply that by our hourly rate. Up here, if you look, it says our hourly rate is, let's see, sorry, $8.50. $8.50, and I'll write that as time. So we're going to multiply that by $8.50. So this person this week made $333. If you look here, we're going to, since it's money, we're going to round it to our hundredths position. Since this is a 5, that's going to round it up to 3 and 62 cents. All right. Okay, that was a very long problem. There's a lot of different steps to it, but we'll keep going on, and it should start kind of coming a little bit more quickly. All right, so let's look at this. Again, we're looking from 7 to 11. 7 to 11, we've had 4 hours transpire, and 0 to 15, 15 minutes. Okay, if we look up here to our 15, that's a quarter hour, which is 4.25. All right. In the afternoon that day, they came in at 12, left at 4, so we have 4 hours. Right at the same time, 12:10 to 4:10, so right at 4 hours. So I'm just going to put it here. We have our whole number. All right, on the 9th, they came in at 11, left at, came in at 6:50, all right, and left at 11. So basically, since this is so close, I'd like to think of this as 7. They came in at 7 and left at 11, which would be 4 hours. But they came in 10 minutes before 7. So we're going to give an extra 10 hours here. You can kind of think of it like that. Or you could have subtracted it, but sometimes it's good to just kind of do some mental math. So we have 4 hours and 10 minutes. All right, our 10 is up here, so our 10 is actually closer to our 15 than our 0. So we're going to write that as 4.25. All right. Here, they came back, they clocked back in at 11:50 and then left at 4. Very similar. So let's kind of think of this as they got in at 12, and then we'll tack 10 minutes in at the end, okay? All right. They came in at 12, left at 4, so again, that's 4 hours. And really, they came in 10 minutes before that, so we're going to tack those 10 minutes on. All right, again, same thing here. 4 hours, 10 minutes is 4.25. All right. Okay, our next one, they came in at 7, left at 11. We're moving forward here in time, so this will be an easier one to do. So 7 to 11, we've got 4 hours. And we go from 10 to 46, which is going to give us 36 minutes. All right, 36, if we look up here, 36 would fall about right here. So the 36 is going to be closer to the 0.5 than it will be the 0.75. So we're going to put 4.5. All right, if we're looking over here in the afternoon, they clocked in at 12 and left at 3. All right, so let's look here. So we're going to, it's moving forward. We're moving forward from 3 to 58. So we've got 12 to 3, that's 3 hours. And if we look at how many minutes have elapsed between 34 minutes after and 58 minutes, we've definitely had from 3 to 5, we've got 24. All right, so if we look at 24 minutes up here, it's gonna fall about right here, okay. But 24 is still going to be closer to your 0.5 than your 0.25. So we're gonna put 3.5 here. All right. On the next day, the 11th, they clock in at 7, 7:10, leave at 11:10. Okay, that's very easy to compute right there. 4 hours have elapsed. We don't need to round. That same afternoon, they went from 12 to 4:35. All right. So again, we've got 4 hours here. And that extra 35 minutes they worked. Look up here at 35, which is about right here. It's closer to the 0.5. So we're going to do 4.5. All right. We go from 7 to 10. which is 3 hours have elapsed. And 5 to 5:55, like from 5 up to 5:55, 50 minutes have elapsed. If we look where 50 is right here, 3 hours and 50 minutes, that's still closer to the 0.75 than it is to the whole hour. So we're going to put 3.75. In the afternoon, they came in at 11 and left at 3. Okay. What I'm going to do, since this isn't the hour, I'm going to go ahead and think about this like they came in at 12, okay? And then we're going to add on those 39 minutes at the end to what's already there, okay? I take that back, 29 minutes. Again. Take that back again. That would be 19 minutes. What am I doing this morning? Okay, so 19 minutes. Okay, so it'd be 19 minutes to get up to 12. So I'm going to just tack on, if you look over here, I've just added 19 on my sticky note right here because I know I'm going to have to tack those on at the end. So if I do the 19 up here, we're adding on 19 to get to 12. So if we go from 12 to 3:25, that's going to be 3 hours and 25 minutes. But then I'm going to tack on those 19 that I didn't account for. All right. So we've got 3 hours. That person worked 3 hours and 44 minutes in the afternoon after they clocked back in from lunch. All right, 3:44 is going to fall right here, which is going to be very close to the 0.75. So we're going to go ahead and round that to 3.75. All right, again, we're going to add up our two columns, okay, of our rounded numbers. 4.25, all right, 4.25 and 4, okay, which gives us 8.25. So we're getting the rounded, or the total rounded hours for each day. 4.25, 4.25, that's going to be 8.5. Like if you have 2 quarters, you're going to have 0.5, 50 cents. All right. We've got 4.5 and 3.5. So that's going to be 8. Again, we've got 4 plus 4.5. We're going to have 8.5. 3.75, 3.75. I'm going to double check myself. 7.5. All right, now we're going to get a total of all these hours. Okay, so I'm going to use my calculator on this. We've got 8.25 plus 8.5 plus 8 plus 8.5 plus 8. 7.5. So that person worked, okay, 40.75 hours that week. Okay, now their rate is at, again, $8.50. So we're going to multiply that by our rate, $8.50. Okay, which would be $346. I'm going to round that again to our hundreds because we're talking about money. Since that's a 5, we add 1 to that, which would be 38 cents. All right, okay. So I just think kind of common sense, you worked a little bit more this week, okay? More than an hour more here, so this should be a larger number than this one, which it is. All right, our last question right there talks about, we're going to use a little bit of algebra in here. So Michael O'Hara earns $14.75 per hour as a carpenter's apprentice. So we know this is our rate of pay from Monday through Friday, okay? So we've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. He starts work at 8. Okay, starts work at 8. He takes a half-hour lunch every break day. if he ends work at 4. Okay, we know he's ending work at 4. All right. Okay, so he's working 8 to 4, 8 to 4, 8 to 4, Monday through Thursday, okay? Again, he starts work on Friday at 8, but this is kind of our unknown. We're not really sure what this is going to be, how many extra hours he has to work, okay? Okay, and we do know that he takes a half-hour lunch break. So if you work from 8 to 4, you're working 8 hours, okay? So, but we're taking off. So if we work, think about it like this. Let's just kind of imagine he's working 8 to 12, right? And then he comes back in he's taking that 30-minute lunch break. He comes back in at 12:30 and works from 12:30 to 4. So really he's not working a complete 8-hour day. He's working a 7.5-hour day each day. Okay, hopefully this is making sense. All right, so he's getting 7.5 hours each day. We're trying to figure out how long he has to work this day to make this amount of money. And the money is $574.86. So I think first we should just calculate the number of hours that we know for sure he has worked. So that's going to be 7.5 hours over Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So we're going to take 7.5 times 4, just to see how many hours he did work on those days. He worked 30 hours. All right. We do know how much he earns per hour. So we're going to have to figure out how many extra hours he has to work to get up to this number or close to it. So let's go ahead and find what he would be paid for sure based on this rate of pay. So we're going to take our 30, our rate of pay times our hours worked. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to do 30 times 14.74. All right, so that's $442.20. $442.20. Okay? Okay. But we don't know how many more hours he needs to work to get up to here. But we do have this piece of information, so we have to use this now. So we need to find the difference between what the total pay will be to where we know he's at right now. So we're going to put over here $574.86. And we're going to subtract these two numbers, $442.20, to find what the difference is, okay? So we've got 574.86. Going to subtract from that $442.20. So the difference right there is $132.66. So we need to figure out how many hours does he have to work to get this extra money, to get this money, to earn that amount of money on Friday, because these hours are already set. All right, so the way we're going to do that is we know this is how much, the $132. We're going to divide that by our rate of hours. So we're working backwards. Before, we take our hours, okay, our hours worked times our rate, okay, to find what our pay is. We're going to work backwards because we know our pay, okay, we know our rate, but we don't know our time, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to divide this by our rate of hours, which doesn't change, or rate of pay, which doesn't change, $14.74, and we'll just divide that. See how much he has to work. So we're going to do $132.66. We're going to divide that by $14.74, which gives us 9 hours that he needs to work, okay? So how late must he work? He has to work a 9-hour workday. All right, so if we think about how many hours would transpire, okay, how late must he work on Friday? Okay, so here he's working 8 hours or 7.5 hours, and he's ending at 4, all right? So he needs to go on another 1.5 hours past this to get up to 9. So every other day he's stopped at 4, but we need to add on 1.5 to that, okay? So he's gonna have to get off work. So we've got 4, 5, at 5.5 hours or 5:30. Okay, he's gonna have to work that extra 1.5 hours. So he is gonna have to work until 5:30 that night to make up for the time that he's missed. All right? Or not the time that he's missed, but to be able to get up to that magic number, okay? All right, I hope this has made sense to you guys. I'm gonna start making these videos to kind of help you if you're getting stuck along the way with the homework. All right, thanks.